you know you make me wanna.
Too much though. He's ready to pop some shots, fire back at his opponents. We're not making him look like a pushover, and you can see because of that, him and Robon have been able to get two different angles that they can now attack from, which some it's a blessing, but all it takes is that 1 second of separation for them to target out either Robon or Fast Roki to turn this into a 2v1 situation. There's just so much pressure coming from all around. Fast Roki not necessarily getting the upper hand in that fight and kind of forced to heal up, back up just a little bit, and that third party gave him so much time to come in and disrupt this fight. And now the decisions have to be made. Do you continue on? Do you disengage? And I do think they're going to pick the latter.
You can see how quickly that decision came through, though. You said it on your mind already. What's the play? And they already decided we're disengaging. So they started walking away. They got a bit of damage already, and to be honest, it's all they really needed.
Not too surprised. Pleasant Piazza was pretty crowded in that last game, and like I said, I think Cringe and Noms, I think that major one battle against Queasy and Thomas was a huge learning experience for them to now kind of just alpha up that POI, kind of take it as their own. But I thought I saw Marius in the distance, slowly but surely moving over. Sangild as well. A long journey away from the underworld where they originally start. But sometimes with how they've been doing so far in this game, 60 points, they're behind their own goal, not necessarily ours. So they probably realize they need to shake things up just a little bit if they want to get back on track.
Playing sneaky here, seeing if they can catch one of their opponents off guard or maybe even scavenge a bit of loot. Being separated, though. They can't take too many risks here. Cringe Noms, though. alongside those 2 eliminations they already have and the decent loadout, they're going to choose to start working more on their mid game here and rotating.
The team so far, yeah, they've really had almost virtually no struggles when it has come to Storm Surge. Trap has about 1,700 damage. Cringe has 1,700 damage by himself. Noms has about 1,400. So they are doing just enough when it comes to that Storm Surge to constantly keep themselves above the threshold, not worrying about taking damage. So that way they can primarily focus on their positioning through each and every one of these mid games.
An engagement that we've seen time and time again. On the corner of the map, we see a lot of fights taking place. One of them, Pixie and Walks like being involved in, but you can see the danger that can come from it if you look at the mini-map at the bottom right. Another 2 duos about to be in their own fight potentially. So either team that takes those initial shots could quickly get third-partied, which is maybe why Walks and Pixie here have just decided, you know, we should just get out of here. Zone's going to start closing. We do not want to be on the edge.
You just got to be careful, because even though that side of the map is opened up, if the zone does pull away, that will put him on the congested side of the zone as we finally tune on board Yanis and Flixie. Not as uncontested as a drop as we thought we were going to see to start the day. You see multiple teams, including CZB and Nathan, moving in over towards Reckless Swearway, stealing away the loot. And that's what happens when you're a little slow to get out of your POI. You try to loot just a little bit too much. The Sky and Scroll looking like they're trying to have a little bit of a sneaky play. Make up, boxes his opponent. First shot's gonna land on the other one as well. Both of them are being put to just low HP, but Scroll looks like he's just by himself. I don't know where Sky is at. He finally joins the mix, but at the perfect time, both of his opponents were dropped to just very little HP, and he's just firing shot after shot after shot until he's finally able to pick up a knock on at least one of the 2 players so far.
Kira caught running, didn't even have a chance to turn around as Sky picked up the elim. I think they're even going to be happy with that. They could chase the solo, but it's not worth it at this point. As now they're going to comfortably, with that bit amount of damage, just continue with their match. The deal reason, right above Swizzy and Vanyak, 2 Titanic duos going head to head.
And see teams you almost expect to be near the top of the leaderboard through and through. 219 points though for Swizzy and Vanyak. That calm, cool, collected game plan. They already have a win. They have consistency underneath their belt. And even though this is just 6 games through day 1 and they got 6 more tomorrow, you want to give yourself as much of a cushion over the rest of the pack as possible.
2nd and 6th place fighting in the early game could potentially mean huge shifts in the leaderboard, but as both players seem to have disengaged, it's going to be a bit of time for them to continue with their path. Let's take a look though at Sky and Scroll, what they were able to do here.
Yeah, that first shot and just the pressure is just too much. And that's what happens when you have a lot of that piece control. You can take shortcuts while your opponent is trying to escape, and then you kind of have them blocked off on one wall, boxed in your box, really no exits. It's kind of what you'd expect from Sky and Scroll.
Teeny Chap, huge start to game 1. I'd love to see them play once again for that height if they can make it there. But as the bunker battle continues, these can take a lot of time to conclude.
A lot of hype surrounding this team. And it's the early games you can kind of see a lot of their potential, a lot of their shines of greatness. It's just the end game or lack of opportunity to play some of these end games out is where they begin to fall short. A little bit of a cheeky opportunity there, trying to go for a snipe shot. Vocal Vortexers continuously trying to gain the pieces back, and they're willing to trap themselves in this bunker to make sure that they get the loot. You see the zone is going to be all around them, so they have more than enough time to wait out Chapatini.
Shots continue to come on through. Getting a flashback from the last match. We saw how long it took to get out of that bunker. And this might just be a similar scenario.
Basically up to Vocal Vortexers how long they want to stay down there. And then Teeny and Chap, I feel like their time limit is how much surge they currently have. Do you have the luxury to wait in there, or do you have to kind of build one of these towers like you see Queasy and Thomas in order to get your own damage? Not too far off of where they start towards Mount Olympus. definitely have kind of handled a lot of the struggles that they had up until this point. They just need to be able to push themselves over the top, played to that full potential. 140 points, great spot on the leaderboard where they're currently at. But you know, Thomas, you know, Queasy, never have these guys placed outside of the top 10 in an FNCS.
I know, I'm getting good feelings with Thomas and Queasy. They haven't completely popped off yet, but they're getting closer and closer, Jacob. And the good news is with 2 days of competition, 6 more matches to be played out tomorrow, 3 more today, including this one. I think this could be one of the duos that potentially will take home that Axe of Champions.
Hey, they got as good a shot as any. And the way Mount Olympus has been playing out so far here today, it's playing out perfectly in their favor. And a battle I felt like we kind of talked about. We mentioned it just a little bit. Pink and Vico, Yanis and Flixie, the possibility of them two engaging is actually real, especially with not too many opportunities for Yanis and Flixie to get the Storm Surge to start out on Reckless Railways. This is something that we saw very, very similar in Major 1. They rotated over towards this forecast tower. Coincidentally enough, it was against Pink and Vico where they tried to get as much surge as possible.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. The potential of that back and forth hasn't been happening too much today, but there's still a lot of time. As now the separation has come through from both duos. Nothing too risky on either side. Just 18 seconds till third zone closes and fourth appears, so we'll see them make their way closer and closer into the zone here. But Cringe and Noms once again, it's non-stop action for this duo.
Yeah, they're ready to take a challenge after challenge. And you can see they're so far away from their original landing spot of Lavish Layer. So they went hunting for good positioning, and they ran into Cheeps and Turtle, who didn't have to go far from the original drop spot of the Underworld. And Cheeps and Turtle, one of the teams that has pulled out at least one VR throughout the qualification process of the semifinals, proving that they have the blueprint down packed, especially when it comes to those set lobbies. But now when you're playing against the best of the best, all stacked in one lobby, this is where you get put to the test.
Banyak gonna choose to separate a little bit. Both sides of the ridge have eyes on them now, but you can even see on the mini map the only duos that are in the surrounding area are quite far. So it looks like they're kind of planning where they're gonna take this launch pad to.
And no matter where the zone pulls, they have the inventory to get max height on that launch pad. Combine the Wings of Icarus, you combine the Flowberry Fizz, you launch off that launch pad, and you kind of get your pick of the litter of literally exactly where you want to land. And if the zone does pull in this direction, I think that will be a huge blessing for these guys to be able to maintain that position high up on the mountain with an escape plan right behind them.
100%. Pixie walks, though, in between, what, 3-4 different duos? Maybe even more? As some of them start to disengage here at the Underworld, but the good news is they're making use of their time.
there.